How many of you are able to control the time that you spend on social media or internet? Honestly speaking, I am so overwhelmed and negatively affected by the habit that I acquired to use social media in recent days. But I'm not alone. Many users are concerned about the way they lost control over the usage of social media and the time that they spend. I tried a lot of things to minimize my screen time and the time that I spend on internet. For example, I put my phone outside my bedroom, and next morning when I woke up, magically I found my phone in my bedside. I deactivated and uninstalled some of the social media apps, but it didn't bring me a long-lasting solution. Most of us are incredibly connected or attached to a smartphone just like a baby does to its mother. Toddlers, less than at the age of 3, they have a strong bond or connection to their parents. And every time when their parents leave them, they start to develop stress and anxiety. That is called separation anxiety. In the same way, every time when we misplace, lose, or forget our smartphone, we start to develop anxiousness. Specifically, that is called nomophobia, the fear of being without a phone. Obviously, we are already inseparable from our smartphone, being our smartphone is at hand, starting from the moment when we wake up from our bed to the time when we go back to sleep at the night. That's not surprising because smartphones gives us a lot of benefits, starting from communication, networking, and instant access to information, and so many more. But this exaggerated over-reliance on a smartphone is one form of behavioral addiction, like sex addiction or gambling. So then how tech company brought us to this far? To the level of addiction. Human brain has not been changed much over the past 50,000 years. Our brain is still functioning with the same basic principle of survival, just like that of caveman or our ancestors. Its main duty is to make sure of our existence, to keep us alive. Because of this, we have a reward system in our brain which rewards any activities that ensure our survival and discourage any conditions which threatens our existence. Activities like sex and eating high-calorie diets are associated with pleasure as a reward, just to reassure that we are doing those activities again and again. Sex is reinforced with pleasure because it is a major way to reassure survival and continuity of human species by reproduction. In similar way, a sweet high-calorie diet or eating fatty meal is reinforced with pleasure because excess calories are stored as fat or carbohydrate in our liver and fat cells and used at the time of starvation as a source of energy. At a molecular level, these experiences of pleasure are associated with release of neurochemical or neurotransmitter is known as dopamine. Sometimes we say that we feel good. Today is good. That is the time when we have some boost in dopamine level. There are 4 dopamine releasing pathways in our brain. Number 1 is Mesocortical Pathway. This is the major pathway which begins from the midbrain, special brain called ventral tegmental area, where the dopaminergic neurons projected into the another nucleus known as nucleus accumbens. This is the dopamine pathway, which is mainly associated with reward in pleasure activity and which is responsible for addiction. The second pathway is Mesocortical Pathway. In the same way, dopaminergic neurons arise from ventral tegmental area from the midbrain and then they project into prefrontal cortex. These dopaminergic neurons are mainly involved with the function of decision making, cognition, and memory. The third dopaminergic pathway is neurostretal pathway. In the same way, this group of dopaminergic neurons arise from the midbrain ventral tegmental area and project into basal ganglia. That's the motor function where 80% of dopamines are involved here, but it's not associated with addiction. It's mainly involved with muscle movement. The fourth pathway is tuberoinfundibular pathway. This pathway is associated with the control of prolactin. This is a hormone which controls the production of milk and some function with sexual satisfaction as well. So the major one is mesolimbic and mesocortical pathway, where the reward system and the pleasure activities are associated with. This group of neurons are responsible for addiction. So every time we do any activities which increase the release of dopamine from this pathway, we can end up with addiction, craving loop of dopamine. Dopamine is not primarily a molecule of pleasure or feel-good chemical. It is a molecule of motivation, molecule of more, which forces people to try for something better in their life, molecule which is responsible for evolution. So any activities which we enjoy can end up with releasing dopamine from our brain. It is mainly released when we are anticipating a reward rather than at the moment of the reward. That is why one person, if he starts to think about addictive substance or a behavior, he fails to resist temptation. Many global product designers, advertisement and entertainment industry, drug leaders and tech company work tirelessly to utilize this vulnerability. They know how they can give you dopamine gush to get entrapped in craving dopamine loop. Tech companies design their products in two ways to entrap all of us in addictive manner. One is the reaction notification from social media is coupled with notification sound or vibration to create intense anticipation. This anticipation provides time for our dopamine neurons to increase in their activities, and when we encounter something which we anticipated, it results in surge of dopamine, giving us a moment of pleasure. The other ways how our smartphones are designed is it is just like a casino slot machine. Just like when you scroll down, you don't know what you are going to end up with. Like it creates anticipation, so you continue to increase the activity of the dopamine releasing neurons. And at the moment when you encounter something which is funny or entertaining, the release of dopamine will be complete. So that creates craving or coming back to check your social media every time when your dopamine level drops down and you're feeling down. So that's how the tech company hooked us. Thank you for watching my video. My next video will be what will be the mental effect of overstimulation from the dopamine amount. See you.